Hey beauties, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be testing out, trying on all three of the brand new Goss Radiance Boosting Face Palettes. These palettes contain a contour and a bronze shade, and they come in three different waves of shades, and I'm going to be putting them all on for you guys. And yes, these were sent to me in PR from Wayne and Beautie's, so thank you to both of you. And once again, Wayne, thank you for allowing me to be able to demonstrate this product for you. I appreciate it. It's never expected, but always appreciated. Also, I want to shout out Lily. I got a package from Beautie's. I think it was something that I had ordered, and she wrote a little note on there for me, and it made my day. And I think she also packaged these beauties, and I just want to say hi to Lily from Beautie's. Your little note, it was just so cute. I opened it and I was like, oh, look at this. So hi Lily. Anywho, back to what we were actually here to see, the palettes. Unfortunately, I don't have all of the information as in pricing or when these are actually available in my mind right now, because yeah, it's the beginning of the month and I have a feeling these are coming out towards the end of the month, so I don't know. Anything I find out, I will list in my description box, and of course, make sure you check out Wayne's video on the palettes. As expected, all three palettes come in the traditional Goss packaging, this sleek black, Goss on the front, and then you have the shade names on the back. This particular one is soft gold and light taupe. This is the one that I'm currently wearing right now. It's also the lightest of the three. I would say that this is for a fair to light skin tone, and I do consider myself to be a light medium. So this one is a little light on me, but still workable. You have a true contour shade in here that is a flat matte finish. And then over here, the bronzer is a satin formula. It is radiant, that lit from within type of glow in the bronzer, whereas the contour is definitely matte. And again, this is the lightest shade. You have the beautiful mirror on the inside. Packaging is amazing. The huge pans, the amount of product you are getting in here is 16.5 grams or 0.58 ounces. And the actual name of the palette, I told you the two names of the shades, is light gold. Next up, satin bronze. And just based off of using this, I would definitely say light medium, I would say medium tan can use this. I built up the very first one, but these other two I did not, and I will get into that later. The two shades in here are medium taupe and bronze glow. Last up, we have deep copper, and this is the darkest of the three. The shades are deep taupe and copper glow. Before I get into the demo of each of the contour and bronze palettes, I want to go over how I applied them, because like I said, the one that I'm wearing right now is very light on me. So I built this one up, and I definitely can use this. It's definitely more natural. It is not as obvious on the skin. It's not an obvious contour. It's not an obvious bronze. It's definitely a very natural look, and I like it, but this is the only one that I built up. These other two, at the end of the video, I will show you how these build up, but I didn't do that whenever I was applying them because I wanted them to work well for my skin tone. For this palette, I chose two brushes that I knew would work for what I wanted the outcome to be. So for the contour, I went in with the Goss number 2. The reason why I went in with this is because this is a little gray. You guys know I don't typically use a gray undertone. I don't contour a lot, but I wanted to have a little bit of the pigmentation without it being too much, and I felt that this brush was the right size. It applied it really well, buffed it out really well, and I got just enough product where you could see that little hint of a shadow without it being too intensely gray. After that, I knew I wanted to build up this bronzer, so I went in with this brush. It is the number 11, and as you can see on this brush, I have a lot more product because I swirled quite a bit more in this and layered it up to achieve the look that I got. So as you can see, if you are fair toned, you will be able to use this, because on me being a light medium, I was able to build it up to be a very, very natural light finish, but it's going to be gorgeous for those of you who have a fair skin tone. The next one that I used, Satin Bronze. Looking at this, I knew that I did not want the contour to be too intense. So this brush, while it would have absolutely worked, especially if I wanted it to be a little bit more defined and cut out my cheekbones, I decided to go in with this brush instead. And it doesn't have the name on it. I think it's the airbrush. I want to say that it's the airbrush. This is going to apply powder products much softer. So I went in with this brush and buffed it into my skin, and as you'll be able to see, this shade is definitely darker than the lightest one. Well, I mean, that's a given anyway, but if I had used a different brush, it would have been even darker than that. But that is why I went in with the airbrush, and then I went in with this. This is one of my favorite bronzer brushes. I love it for powder, I love it for bronzer, I love it for so many things. This whole line is one of my favorites from WANG. It's the Artist Collection, and I used that for the bronzer, and I just went all over with it, and it was the perfect amount. This brush can either diffuse or build. It kind of gives you that middle ground, so it's not, if you're worried about a product being too intense, you can go in with this and then you can still build with it. So that's why I chose this brush, and I used it again with the next palette. Now I was really, really careful with this, but I didn't want to use this brush again. I wanted to see what would happen if I went in with something a little denser, but this does not have a lot of product on it. I basically took the deep copper and I touched it. I went like boop, and it picked up quite a bit of product, and then I knocked off. Normally that is not something that I do. I don't tend to knock off product unless I am a little nervous about how deep it's going to be, because this is not a palette that is made for my skin tone, but I wanted to see if I can make it work for my skin tone, and it ended up being one of my favorites on me. So this brush right here is the number 12. It's more dense, so I took it and I kind of stamped and then buffed. And having a smaller amount of product on there, you can see just how much pigmentation you get out of one little dip in there and then buffing it out. And I felt like this was the smoothest contour on me. And it might just be the color. I like the little bit of extra warmth that was in this one. It's still a true contour, but it wasn't as gray as the other ones on my skin. And I know a lot of you guys love the contour on me, but it's just not something that I'm used to. So I was really, really drawn to this, and I was really happy that I was able to make this one work for me. And then again, I went in with the Artist Large for the bronze shade, but I did not apply as much as I did of A, the first one, or B, the second one. This is the one that I went in with a lightest hand. I wanted to really, really buff this into the skin and shear it out just a little bit. But like I said, I am going to take these two palettes, the second and third, and I'm going to show you how they look once they are deepened up, so you guys don't think that they all look exactly the same. I just wanted to make them work for me. Now I wanted to put these on my face, and I actually did. However, I felt like it could be considered inappropriate or disrespectful with how deep they went on my complexion, so I scratched that footage. I just didn't, yeah, like I mentioned, I just don't want it to come off as disrespectful. So what I did was took my foundation shade and I put it on my daughter's arm. As you can see, she's much lighter than I am. And then I went over that with a little bit of powder to set everything. And these are brush swatches. I initially wanted to go in with the airbrush from WANG Goss and then go in with one of the thicker, denser bronzer brushes that I had for the other shade. However, it just wasn't swatching correctly, so I went in with a denser, smaller face brush for the ones that are a little bit darker. So the first section I have swatched lightly with the airbrush, and then second with the denser brush. The same thing for the contour. So you can see why this one was much lighter on my skin tone. The medium one, again, I did the same thing. The first swatches with the airbrush and then the denser brush. Same thing for the contour. That is the medium one. And then the last one is the deep one. And this picture is taken outside, so you can see that brushes definitely make a difference. You've got something that definitely works for fair, medium, and then the last one I think will work really well on dark complexions. I think deep we might need something just a little bit darker, so hopefully he'll add in one more to go just darker than this. But I think this is a good start from, you got to remember, it is a small brand. And as you can see, you can definitely shear these out or build them up. Shearing them out is the only way I was able to use these. So I wanted to make sure that that was clear. That yes, I can make all of these work on my face, but it is a brush application, my method of applying these, how much I picked up, and the brush that I used. Also, I know that Dr. Bay, Kelsey Brianna J, she is in this campaign as well. So I don't know anybody else, if anybody else is, so I apologize if I missed anybody. But make sure that you check out her channel so that you can see how these worked on her and tell her that her BFF said hello. Alright beauties, that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not already. Make sure you head over to Wayne's channel so that you can see all the demonstrations. I love you all, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.